And Wes, if I mute you through this, it's not because I don't like you. It's because your audio may decide to start echoing on us again.
Well, so. I'm on a different computer. So it's
even better. Okay, great. All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started here. Welcome to the Killer Frogs, the podcast all about TCU athletics from the fans' point of view. My name is Sean Fouché, and this is Season 4, Episode 22 for January 30th, 2018. Joining me on tonight's panel, and it's a big one, we got Killer Frog Emeritus, Wes Phelan. Wes, how are you hanging in there?
I'm hanging in there, but thanks for asking.
Wes is a little under the weather, so if he drops out later, don't blame him. We also have the boss.
Just dig a hole and toss me in it. That's all I want you to do.
No, sir.
Man, you're starting off on a dark note tonight here, Wes. Boss Ryan Zeller. Hey, Ryan.
Hey there. Doing great today. It's so pretty here in Fort Worth. Beautiful weekend. It's hard to believe it's dead of winter. It's felt like spring.
Right.
Yeah, my son this morning on the way to church was asking, "What is it? Is it still winter? Is it summer yet?"
I know.
Yeah.
I told Mike, I said, days like this, I wish we had a retractable roof on our house because it would be so nice.
Days like this, I miss my convertible.
Yeah.
Also joining us tonight, we got Shannon Brazil. Hey, Shannon, welcome back.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Man, you are welcome anytime. We also have one of the biggest TCU fanatics, and you probably see her jumping up and down and screaming her heart out at the basketball games, the football games, the baseball games, pretty much anywhere TCU athletics is played. We got Rima Roan. How you doing, Rima?
Hey, Sean. How are you? How's everybody doing?
Oh, man, we're doing fantastic. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Well, thanks for having me.
I can't wait to talk to you a little bit about women's basketball in a bit.
I can't wait to tell you all about it.
Don't get her started.
You should see her smile. She's just grinning from ear to ear. She can't wait to talk about women's basketball. And also joining us on tonight, we got a special guest. We have Greg Wells. Walls. Sorry, Greg. I apologize. I'll edit that out. Let's try that again. We also have Greg Walls, former TCU defensive back from 97 to 2000. I apologize, Greg. I need my glasses.
No worries. Glad to be here. Definitely glad to be here.
I don't mess up often, which is a lie. I mess up all the time, but I apologize for that.
No worries.
Great Walls, and we really appreciate you coming on tonight.
I appreciate you guys having me, man. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun.
That's the main thing. Have fun.
Well, and I already made the one mess up for tonight, so it should go smoothly after this.
Everybody gets one.
Hey, you did push the record button, didn't you?
I did hit the record button this time. Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Wes. And for those of you who don't know, the inside joke is a few weeks ago I forgot to hit the record button, and we lost an entire podcast. So
it was so good. It was with Landry.
Bird eye.
And it was fantastic. Landry was just rare form, absolutely hilarious, and we didn't record any of it. So
we did that with Reagan too. Remember one time we got halfway through and it like malfunctioned, and so we had to start over. That was fun.
Yeah. The unofficial title of this podcast is technical difficulties. So
media all day.
I love it.
Exactly. Well, let's get started tonight, and let's go ahead and kick off with a little bit of basketball news. Ryan, why don't you take it away?
So last week we played West Virginia on Monday night. Rima and I were both there, and it was, I tell you what, we've had games so far. This one was different. I don't know what it was. They've all been fantastic, but it was more electric than usual in there. And it was packed, and we won. I mean, we killed them. Well, okay. We didn't, the final score didn't show that we killed them, but we were ahead of them. They tightened it up at the very end, and of course gave us all heart palpitations, but we pulled it out, we won, and it was amazing. Gosh, what was West Virginia ranked? They're in the top 10.
They were 6.
Golly, number 6. So that was a huge win for the boys.
Well, that's what we've been saying for the last couple of weeks. They found a way to kind of overcome that late surge and actually found a way to pull out a win at the end of the game.
That's true, because almost beat OU. I think I forget exactly how many we lost by, but like maybe 2 or 3 points. And then same with KU. Any of the close games, they've all been very, very close. Unfortunately, we did drop to Vanderbilt. They went on the road to Vanderbilt, which is interesting because they're obviously not in our conference, so it's an out of conference game in the middle of the season. But they like it, and Vanderbilt's a very, I guess, nostalgic, historical place to play, so it's a good experience for them. They played there they played Vanderbilt actually last year as well. Win, so hopefully they will get back on track this week. And then I'm going to turn it over and let Rima talk about women's basketball because she got the big win on Saturday. Unfortunately, I was at the rodeo, so I was following Twitter. But
well, you had to go either between the rodeo and TCU women's basketball, and you chose the rodeo.
Can you believe it? I cannot believe it.
I grew up going to the rodeo, so
Hey, rodeo's fun.
bad planning on my part.
It was funky.
Let her have it, Rima.
I guess. I mean, my priority is the women's basketball, so rodeo schmodio. So yes, as Ryan said, we had the big win. Even though Oklahoma wasn't ranked, we were on the way to have a 6-game winning streak. And I've been to all the home women's basketball games except for one at the beginning of the season. I believe that was the West Virginia game when we were at a football game. So even though women's basketball is my priority over the rodeo, football is priority over basketball. So all the games have been really good. I've been following this team for a few years now. My favorite player, as Wes knows, I have a guy for football that I pick and I follow throughout his career at TCU. No matter what, good or bad. Andy Dalton happened to be one of my guys at one point in time.
So you didn't pick him?
Andy D. Wow.
Whoops.
So I have my girl too.
I thought I was your guy.
I have so many guys. So many guys.
Let's get out of here. Come on.
Well, you know what? I'm done with this.
So I have my girl too. And my girl for TCU basketball this year is 00, Amy Okonkwo. She did not play last year. Or was it the year before? She sat out for 1 year, and I just knew she was going to be good watching her through practices. And sure enough, this year she's really come into her own. She's just all over the place. She can make those 3-pointers. You see her out on the practice court before the games, just shooting around. So she's a pivotal part of the team. But the thing that I liked most about the game this weekend, like I said, I've been to a lot of games. This game was so much fun. Every single person on the team did something spectacular. When I'm watching those girls, I think that, man, here we go, that 4-minute point. Sometimes we just fall apart, and I kind of get nervous when I see that 4 minutes, and it was coming, and they were catching up. I was panicking. Then out of nowhere, Dakota Van just comes and steals the ball away. Oh my gosh. I was going crazy, screaming and yelling, everybody, and the whole crowd was standing up. It was so much fun. Then OU scores again. I'm like, oh no, my gosh, we're going to lose this game. We're going to lose this game. then out of nowhere, Lauren Hurd, she steals the ball. I mean, we really wanted this. Those girls wanted this game so bad. And man, they absolutely deserve that win. It was spectacular. The crowd was bigger than I'd seen it before, which I just love. I do not understand why people do not come out to the women's basketball games because they are so much fun.
And they don't.
Go ahead.
If they can dunk, everybody will be out there.
No.
Yeah, okay.
It's gonna come. We're gonna get one dunker.
We got a couple tall girls. We'll see what we can do there.
Was it Brittany Griner at Baylor that could dunk?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was
Yeah.
6'8". I think she was a man in disguise, to be honest with you. But, yeah.
Well,
And you can send your comments to Wes at
I'm not-
KillerFrogs.com.
Shannon
I'm
Brazil,
sick. I'm sick. I don't know what
I
I'm
would not
saying.
condone that comment, and today's
Shannon
funny.
Brazil has nothing to do with that comment.
Oh my goodness.
Let's get back to the excitement of
That's funny.
We have some work to do on this one.
Oh, I'm going to leave that in.
Take some
I'll-
medication,
I'll
folks.
edit out my flub, but I'm going to leave
Oh
that
my
one
gosh,
in.
Wes,
You guys
Wes,
go
Wes.
ahead.
I think Jordan Moore might be able to dunk if Coach would let her. She's a pretty tall girl. I'll ask her about that. I'll see. For those of you that are listening to the podcast or will listen to the podcast later, there's no reason for you not to come out and support the girls basketball team. They're a good basketball team. The tickets are very, very inexpensive. And if you didn't know, you can sit anywhere because all the seats besides the lower bowl are general admission. So you can come into that arena and have an excellent seat and have a really good time.
Well, there's not a bad seat in that arena anyway. So
There's
even if
not, but
even there's only a few tickets left, go anyway because it's going to be a great
exactly.
experience.
One of the things that we're doing, can I talk about it, Ryan?
Yes.
going
Yeah.
Well, first of all, the girls are playing against Texas on Saturday, and there is a bus ride. And there are still seats available for that bus ride. So if you haven't signed up and you don't have anything to do Saturday, it is a little bit early, but it's going to be a really fun trip. Need to sign up. We leave at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to the game. We don't have to drive, which is great. Come on back.
Is that game at noon? Or is it
11.
11?
At 11.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why you don't have to drive and why that's great.
Because you can drink on the bus.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to go that far. You don't have to stress out about anything. Somebody else is driving for you. You can just hang out.
Give them some incentive to go.
Yeah, you know, who's supplying the bottle?
Saturday morning mimosas and
Yes.
TCU women's basketball. I mean,
Yes.
what's better?
And take the exit 261, come by my house, and we'll have a drink.
Okay. And then we're going to come back for a Wednesday night game against OSU. And we have partnered up with some people around the community to actually sponsor a underprivileged fourth grade class, about 80 kids, to come and enjoy the game on a Wednesday night.
Fantastic.
It's really exciting that everybody has come together to help us out with that, to give these kids a great experience. There was a women's alumni game prior to the game this weekend on Saturday. So I met a few of those women that had played for TCU before. And they, a couple of them have graciously accepted our invitation to come and sit with the kids. Just to make it a little better experience. I know that Shannon has a few people that are also going to come. We're trying to gather as many people as we can to sit with the kids, make that a good experience for them. Rally House has given us some coupons for the fans as well as the kids to come over to Rally House and get a discount. Tropical Smoothie has given us a discount as well. So we just got a couple of things going on to help them out. So everybody is invited to that game, not just the kids that we're sponsoring. So come on out.
Fantastic.
Let's challenge them, Rima, to come on out. We need people to come out and show more support for that game. We have a bunch of athletes coming. We have a bunch of kids. We're going to be showing the game, showing them a different atmosphere than what they're used to. So I challenge you as fans to come out. Let's have a good showing. Let's be there not only for our team, but let's be there for the community of those kids and show them, that we can have fun, but what fun's all about in a great atmosphere than what they're used to seeing.
Shannon, are you bringing your family? Because that'd fill up most of the stands right there.
Well, unfortunately, I pay a lot of money to a lot of organizations.
Squad. I mean, y'all might want to play the next pickup.
Listen, I'm sure I'm one short of a starting lineup now, but
Well, you know what to do.
Yes, sir. Well, no.
No, sir.
That's
that is
done.
not.
West.
As they say, shop is closed on my end.
Oh God. See, Greg, we're real serious about what we do here. So
Love it.
Good stuff.
Well, did we mention this or not? But the TCU women are ranked 24 in the nation. Did
They
we say
are.
that already?
No,
I
we
don't
did
think we
not
said
say
that.
that.
Because I know
Awesome.
last podcast we were waiting on the rankings to come out because they came out the day after we actually recorded. So we were hoping that they would be ranked. So that was nice.
Would
Like to have seen
anybody
them ranked a
above
little higher.
24 drop a game this weekend? So a chance to move up, or how's that looking?
We keep winning. I don't see why we wouldn't.
Yeah,
move
I
up.
think we'll.
Well, yeah, but if nobody else loses, there's not going to be a room for us to move up. But I can't imagine that somebody didn't drop a game over the weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure. And
Well, but then you're also talking about the quality of the wins too. So
Right.
I mean, even if everybody else in front of you wins, if you're beating better competition, you're going to move up. So
Same old stuff.
six
So
games.
this is our sixth. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh no, yeah, we were both thinking the same thing. 6-game winning streak. So that's
Since 2011.
mhm.
yeah, in conference too. So that's
Yes.
where it counts.
Before I forget, I want to give a shout out to Johnny Collins with National Community Title for sponsoring tickets for some kids to go to the game. So big shout out to him. He's TCU Hall of Famer, which will be there to support on the 7th as well. And also would love to come on the show next week and be a part. So shout out to Johnny. Thank you.
Thank you,
That'd be
Johnny.
great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love the community that we
It's
have
just
here.
big. So big. It's such a big deal for the community to come forward for us and help us out and support us, support KillerFrogs as well as the girls basketball team.
Yeah, and then also a shout out to WC Nix for donating the T-shirts
Yes.
for the kids.
Thanks, WC.
Cool.
Thank you, Dubber.
Dubber.
Pretty cool.
Big Dub.
Where is Dubber?
We'll get him back on shortly, but he's taking a little time off.
You still got the
We
food?
can't all fit on the screen. There's-
We got 6 on tonight. If we had Dubber, we would never go to sleep.
We wouldn't get an word in edgewise either. So.
That's my man.
podcast. All right, are we ready to move on to baseball? This is
Baseball,
We know you are.
I know.
Baseball
I've
time.
waited this for a full year. So everybody has their favorite sport, and even though Rena says football, takes precedent over basketball, which it does probably only because of the amount of money we invest in those football games. But,
Yeah.
baseball is my favorite. I say that every week just because there may be a new listener, and I just want to make sure everybody knows that. But so they actually started practice on Fridays, and their first home game is against UTA on February 20th. They are trying, their goal again this year is, of course, to make the World
Series bound,
Series.
baby. That's what it is.
And eventually, one day, we're going to win it because every year we go a little bit further.
Well, Ryan, you know what they say. If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Yeah, and you know what? I tell you what, that is the needed winning it is just icing on the cake. But getting there is amazing. We have personally traveled to the last 3. We're on, I guess they've gone the last 4 years in a row. So now they're trying to make their 5th straight appearance in the World Series. They've actually gone
5th in 8 years.
Yep.
It'll be 5 and 8 years if they go.
And the only other team to come close to that is
6.
Florida,
Florida.
who only has been it's the only one that's been to more than 2 in the past 4 seasons, and that's Florida in 2015 and 2017. So we are out there on our own. And then so this is Schlossnagel's 15th season, and we've also been to 7 super regionals. So back when we were in school, that was the goal, was to make it to a super regional. So we've come, just like football in the late 90s, early 2000 has come just a long, long way. So gear up for baseball season. It's going to be another fun ride, I'm sure.
And that's another more people. If you've got some time, come out and watch this team play. They are fantastic. And this is an elite program now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been at TCU, and you could never use TCU and the word elite in the same sentence, but that's not true this time. This is an elite team, and you owe it to yourself to come out and watch them play at least once in your lifetime.
Here's the deal. We got to do a better job of being a fan. Shannon will tell you, I love baseball more than I love football. Believe it or not, baseball is my favorite sport. So those teams, I knew TCU when they didn't have lights. See, that's what like Wrigley Field. See, that's why they changed the stadium. They didn't have lights. They had to play day games over there, you know. So to watch those cats play and to be more than competitive, to be the top dog, be the contender, you know, that's huge. And then to get out there and dominate the Big 12, which, you know, when Texas and A&M at one time was running the Big 12 in baseball, you know, back in the day. It's a wonderful thing to see. So it's probably a matter of 1 or 2 more seasons before they win it all.
You know what? I think we've got the pitching staff to do it, and they were, you know, I mean, you got to think of we have a lot of holes we had to fill this year. We got a new catcher.
Yep.
There last year, but you know, they taken over for Evan Scout. New third baseman, new shortstop, new second baseman,
pretty much the entire infield.
Yeah, you replace your entire infield. Lucan Baker is back and well. You remember he got hurt last year and couldn't play. And so I think all the keys are there. I mean, the pitching staff, I think the top 3 is as good as anybody in the country. And one of our regulars on the Frog Fan Forum, who is a major league scout, went off and said this could be the 3rd best starting lineup in college baseball. I take his word. He knows what he's talking about. I'm not going to name him, but you know he knows what he's talking about because that's his business. And, you know, and Schlossnagle's always going to have a ton of good arms on that team. Always. I mean, Jared Janczyk, who right now is our quote ace, you know, we had to redshirt him one time because there was no place to put him on the lineup. So that tells you how deep our staff can be and has been in the past. I have no doubt that it's equally deep this year. So it's going to be fun to watch. Come out and watch them.
Not only are you getting a good game, for the fans that don't know what the atmosphere is about there, you know, there's usually it's usually 3 nights: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, Friday night's a real great night to go out there. You get off work, just go and hang out there, especially when the weather's great at the beginning of the season, not overly hot. Saturday is just a real good game because you have a lot of people there. And then Sunday, now that it was fun anyway, but now that they've built the addition to the outfield for the fans to sit, it's such a great time to bring your kids out there because the kids can run around and you're not worried about them. And then I love this piece, and I know Ryan does too. The kids get to run the bases at the end of the game and then line up and get to have posters signed and meet the players. So it's a really cool thing for the kids to come out and do on a Sunday.
And it's Sunday's Dollar Hot Dog Day.
Yeah, you're right.
Win-win.
I used to watch Scott when we'd go there on Sunday, and he'd get $10 worth of hot dogs.
And that was just the first inning.
Yeah, and I'd say, "Can I have one?" He'd go, "Get your hands away from the hot dog." You know. The boy can eat hot dogs. Let me tell you.
My man Scott.
Good old Scotty.
Man, okay. Well, you know, we're all looking forward to baseball season, but let's enjoy this basketball season a little bit longer because the girls are on a hot streak. Hopefully they can continue that this week and punctuate it with a nice little win down in Austin. That'd be nice. And of course, the men, you know, that West Virginia win looked fantastic, and I think that will help. That will help catapult them further on in the conference. Of course, they hit a little bit of speed bump there against Vandy, but you know, you're on the road. It's hard to win on the road, and especially against a team like that in a inter-conference kind of a game. So hopefully they come back. They are well rested and hit the ground running again. So I don't know.
The only thing that worries me, Vandy was what, 5-15? Is that they did not have a winning record?
No.
And even though that loss will not hurt us in conference standing, it doesn't look good,
right?
You know, in the total scheme of things. But it's certainly a team we could have and should have beaten. But I guess they left their defense back in Fort Worth. I don't know, but I'm a little worried tomorrow when the ratings come out. We may drop down out of the top 25, but you know, so be it. We just need to get on a roll at the end of the season and you know, earn our way into the big dance.
You win out in this conference, you're definitely going to be in the top 25. I mean,
oh yeah, no doubt.
There's no way about it. So yeah, that's. Yeah, it does hurt. Doesn't look great, but we've all seen bad losses like that come back, and
We still have time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, moving on from basketball and baseball, Greg.
Yes, sir.
Man, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've been up to lately?
Man, I just been trying to keep my head above water, man. And Shannon called me and said that he needed to get me on the phone. I said, all right, who we talking to? And he said, I don't know. So I just said, let's figure it out. No, man, I own a company called The Performance Experience. And what we do, long story short, is we help kids get scholarships, athletic scholarships. And our motto is multiple sports, multiple athletes, multiple scholarships earned. So over the past 3 years, we've helped 26 kids through athletic development and through understanding the recruiting process. We've helped them earn scholarships. And I mean, with my few academies, soccer, baseball, speed school, and even through track, we've helped more than 80 kids earn scholarships in multiple sports, everything from women's soccer to football on NAIA, D2, D1, and track, and you just start naming sports, and we've helped them earn scholarships. So that's what I do. I've been doing that for 4 years. I've been in sports performance and fitness for about 15 years now. So Shannon, it's crazy to say things like 15 years, 12 years,
right,
20 years. You know, and we was kids when we met, man, and we get a chance. You know, we grown and gray and bearded, old, but that's what I do. I mean, we're right here in the mid cities, and we've helped. We have, I think, this year alone, this signing year, this period, 7 kids will have earned a scholarship through our organization. So we do sports performance and general fitness, but more importantly, sports performance, and we teach the recruitment process so these kids have a chance to go to school on the school's dime.
Now, how do these kids come to you? Do they find you, or do you go out, some of them, and find them, or how does that work?
Yes and yes. I'm aggressive, man. I'm a DB still. I'm aggressive. So they find us. A lot of it now is referrals and word of mouth, and we deal with a lot of teams. And then I go out, shake hands, and kiss babies. So I like the people to know what we do. Part of it is this, and Shannon will tell you, I'm from the swamp. I'm from South Mississippi.
Picayune, Mississippi. Let's call it what it is. Picayune, Mississippi.
Yeah. So my story is simple. So I'm from a town called Picayune, Mississippi, bottom of the map, about 45 minutes from the Superdome. And we were playing in ’97. We went to the playoffs. We actually played the same team twice. We played them once in the regular season and once in the playoffs. And it was George County in Lucedale, Mississippi. And there was a gentleman there named Coach Buckley. And I don't even know his first name. I just know him as Coach Buckley. But at the end of the game, they beat us. It was the last game of my career in high school. We're shaking hands across the field. And he said, hey, son, you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get a chance to play somewhere. Them the only words he ever said to me. Hey, son, you keep doing what you're doing, you'll get a chance to play somewhere. And this, Shannon will appreciate this. This was before Huddle and YouTube and internet and Facebook, where you had VHS and you had to dub your highlights with the VCR on top of the VCR. And it took you like 12 hours to make 7 plays, and then you had to stick it in the envelope and hope it made it to the right person. So
without getting broke.
Yeah, so Coach Buckley called TCU. And he told them, hey, y'all need to recruit this kid down here in Mississippi.
Wow.
And that changed my life. That changed my entire life. So I understand what going to school does for an athlete.
So that's crazy you say that, because my first question to you was going to be, what was it like when you coming from a small place called Picayune, Mississippi to TCU at the time back in 97, 96, 97? How was that transition from you, brother?
The best thing ever, because it was certain things I knew, man, when I was a kid. Like when I was in 9th grade, I knew I was going to graduate from college. I didn't know how. I didn't know where. I just knew in 9th grade I was going to go to college. I knew the pretty girls were in college. I knew I was football in college. I just knew it. So that transition for me was easy. It was, I leave a small town to go see something different. I didn't know if it was bigger or smaller or better. I just knew it was different, and I wanted different. And I'm not afraid of many things. I'm afraid of hippos, but I'm not afraid of people. You know,
it's a reasonable thing to be afraid of.
Yeah, they will.
Oh,
They
God,
will get
hippos are the worst. I'm gonna tell you.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, these terrible animals, man. Do your research, man. They can breathe underwater. They can run up to 40 miles an hour. You can't get away. They attack.
Hey, Greg, outside of the Fort Worth Zoo, when was the last time you seen a hippo in the wild?
On TV, and they look a little aggressive on TV. The babies
They can run better than a 4.4.
The hippo, I'm about a 4.4, but
is there any school that has a hippopotamus as their mascot? Just
I
wondering.
wouldn't go.
Hilarious.
That would be cool.
We should do research on that.
No, it wouldn't be cool.
I have no idea. But Greg wouldn't go there because they wouldn't have all the pretty women.
No, but extra points if you can tell me who the Golden Griffins are.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can. It's on Missouri Southern State University, the Griffins. We just got a kid who just committed to Missouri Southern State University.
Okay, I didn't know that, so you're one up on me, but I was thinking Canisius College up in New York.
No, it's Missouri Southern State University.
Okay, all right, you win.
Someone finally answered one of Wes's bar bets. I love it. Nice.
But you know, that's so the transition for me was easy, man. It was something different, and then I got a chance to grow and learn, and it goes right back to Coach Buckley saying, "Hey, son, you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna get a chance to play somewhere." Without him making that call, I'm not here talking to you. This is real. If he doesn't make that call, I never meet Shannon, and I don't get to have this conversation with you guys. I'm not here speaking in my own facility about helping other kids get scholarships because somebody gave me a scholarship.
Right.
Because my folks wouldn't have been able to pay for it. Here's the reality. For me to go to TCU for 10 days, my mama would have had to get another job. My daddy would have had to get another job. We would have had to get a second mortgage. We'd had to sell all the cars, and I probably could have went for 10 days. Maybe. You know, but they paid for it. And in that, I got a chance to be all conference. I got a chance to play on the #1 defense in the nation. That opportunity. I've been to, 46 of the 52 states in the union. What it does is well beyond what we say in social media. Like, we crush these kids or we praise these kids, and they kids, and all they want is that opportunity that they probably wouldn't have got if they didn't have that gift in somebody else.
And sometimes that what they need is that inspiring word like you got from Coach Buckley.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing, and you're gonna play somewhere else, or you're gonna go on and move on. And sometimes
It's
just
bigger
that
than
word alone, that little pat on the back, will take you.
It's bigger than that because he made the call. He called TCU.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? He called TCU. Like, I didn't know this man from Adam, but he saw something, and he made the call. So since that moment, I feel obligated that every kid, every athlete, man, woman, black, white, it doesn't matter. If you got a real opportunity, if you can't play, then there's no reason to continue the conversation. That's just what's real. But if you have a real opportunity, and I know how to get you there, it's my job to walk you through that process.
Excellent.
And then give you those tools to get.
And a lot of people forget, or in today's world, I was a 5-star athlete back then, but 5-star back then versus now is totally different. What Greg's talking about, it's a lot harder it was a lot harder back then to make it because we didn't have these guys today can literally put all their stuff on social media and just send it out to the world, and somebody's gonna see it. So YouTube, all this stuff. But to be seen back then in those days, you had to be a good football player.
Like, to be seen, they had to find you. Like, now they just gotta look. They don't have to find you because now they can recruit from the click of a mouse.
Right.
But and everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a voice. So you can build them up or you can crush them. But if they don't understand the process has never changed. And that's the key to everything. The process has never changed. And we have to be sure we understand that, hey, let's be fair to the process. If there are any parents out there that want their kids right now to go to TCU, ask them 3 questions. And I'll start every conversation with 3 questions. What's your core GPA? If you don't know, stop talking to me. Have you taken the ACT or the SAT? If you haven't, stop talking to me. And have you registered for the NCAA clearinghouse or the eligibility center? Right. If you haven't done that, I don't care how good you are.
Yeah, they also need to know the winning lottery numbers.
Yeah, that too. You know, you can play for it yourself. You know, but I think that's what's important. So because when we talk about these baseball athletes, these basketball athletes, and we get so excited, and then you see Rima smile, and it's just you can count all her teeth, and she got all her wisdom teeth, and it's electric. You know, all because somebody gave those kids a chance.
Well, Greg, do you emphasize academics as well as athletics? I mean, you mentioned knowing your core GPA. They got to have a good GPA these days.
I'll tell you how much we emphasize academics. In my company, we have a no pass, no pay policy as well. We're not going to waste any hours on a kid that can't compete anyway.
Yeah, right.
So if you ain't passing in class, you can't come in and train. For what? You know.
Yeah.
Do you help them find tutors or help instruct them a little bit more in that process?
I have a lady right now, like this is how serious we are. I have a lady right now who she has a 96% placement rate in schools, from NAIA schools to Harvard, because she knows how to get minority students, Hispanic and Black students, into college by teaching them test taking skills, by getting them scholarships, where to go. Like, here's how serious I am about school. If we preach education, right, in the United States, we were taught, get your books, be respectful, go get a job and you'll be successful. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say all that's bullcrap.
Yep.
All of it. Because the reality is, understand the process,
Yes.
take advantage of your advantages, and go after whatever the hell you want.
Amen.
That's the reality. So when you got all of these things you have access to, every time I get an opportunity to have access, I give access. Now it costs, but I give access, you know. So I think it's important that when I get a chance to be on a podcast like this and we talk about these athletes, I just get super excited. And to see the excitement is crazy, because we're talking about 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids, man, that would not have had this opportunity had somebody not given them a chance.
Yeah, you know, for many years, I helped out with a company that was doing the same thing, but for high school golfers. And, you know, they don't have, there's no recruiting website for high school golf. But there are so many scholarships across the United States that just go unawarded because they don't have the budget to go out and recruit like football does. So even back when you guys, Shannon and Greg, when you guys were playing, football programs had people that could go out and actually do the physical recruiting. Well, at most colleges, they don't have that for the golf coaches. So we were doing the same thing. We were trying to get some of these guys who are like, 1A, 2A, 3A schools who nobody is going to waste time even looking at, an opportunity to get up there. And we found that a lot of times the players don't even know the process. So my question to you, Greg, how much, you finished that final game, you meet Coach Buckley, he tells you what he's telling, but how much of that process did you understand at that point?
None, but I was prepared. And that's the funny part. So I had already taken my ACT. I had already knew my core GPA because I knew like I was going to go to college somewhere. So I had already done those things. I was a good student.
So you're preparing academically to go.
Yeah, I was prepared academically. Like, it was easy for me. So it was, I knew I had to, in order to play college ball, I knew my junior year I had to sign up for the clearinghouse. Now, nobody told me. I heard, so I did it. Nowadays, there is no reason anywhere for any kid not to do those three things. Right. Because here's the truth. If you get reduced lunch, you can take some of that stuff for free. And if a counselor don't tell a kid that, they should fire the counselor. And I'm going to say that with no hesitation.
Yep.
If I walk into a counselor's office and say, I need my core GPA, and they make me leave, then I need to find somebody else in that spot. Because there are certain things that counselors can't do because you got 7,000 kids you got to deal with.
Right.
So then we try to put it on the coaches. Well, I'm going to step out here and say, it is not the coach's job
at all
to help your kid get to college. The coach's job is to win.
Yep.
The coach's job is to have a respectable, legitimate winning program. It is the parent's job and the kid's job to do individual things to pursue individual goals. It's my job to be the glue. I'm a sports performance instructor. My job is to make the kid better for the team so they can have a better opportunity when they're done with their high school career or their college career. So
well, how many high school coaches now how many of those high school coaches are kind of like your Coach Buckley? I mean, that take
probably about 2%.
Oh, really? They're not that involved? Is it because they should be involved, or is it just that they just don't want to have that involvement?
It's hard to be that involved because you got to look out for the greater good. You got all these kids on your team, and they literally don't have time, and there's too much red tape for them to take that one kid and say, we're gonna walk you through the process of getting to school. But what about those other 6 that have a chance to go to school? It's not the coach's job to do that. And when parents get upset or other people get upset, it's not the coach's job. It's your job to look out for yourself or find somebody who understands the process. It just so happens that, I've coached at the collegiate level. I've had a chance to do stuff at the private school, high school level. I've sat with athletic directors, associate athletic directors to find out these processes to say, hey, here are the 9 steps you need to take. So by the time your junior year comes, you're just waiting on somewhere to go, baby. You pick your poison. Or you go get academic scholarship, go be a walk-on, and now you're a 2-for-1, and you can quit or do whatever you want to do in that realm if it's not working out, and you still get to go to school. It's so many different ways.
Well, so you guys, for instance, Sean, take the state, the state of Texas and the football around here. Take the playoffs and all this TV time and all this stuff they're getting. There's no way those guys, as soon as you graduate and you play that last game, they're going to take a couple of days off, and then that very next week they're focused on their next season. They're not going to help 20, 30, or 15 seniors try to get into colleges. That takes time. That's too much time away from their salaries and the things they're trying to do. They're trying to win their next title because that's what pays the bills. It starts to come into business a lot sooner than people think. You got to look at it like this, and this Greg can identify with this because we've worked together on this, and everything he's saying we preach. The bottom line is this: if I'm a coach and I'm making a big salary, kids can get me fired. Think about that. Kids can get me fired, or they can get me hired, and that's the thing about it. But once they leave, they're the ones that I have to cater to that guy. I don't have time, right? Because that guy that's gone, he's not getting me paid anymore. So I don't have time to really. I can put in a good word from time to day. I've got to turn around and focus on my next season, and that's what happened. That's why I select football and baseball and all this stuff is so huge. That's why Greg Walls has a company that's growing daily, because people are coming here for wisdom and advice on how to get their kids to college, because the coaches flat out don't have the time to do it.
Let me give you some real numbers. We got a kid that came in here, and over the course of a year, he came in February. Over the course of the year, he spent $5,400. Okay. Now, that sounds like a lot of money. It really does. He spent $5,400. This kid is around 5'5". I mean, he's 5'5" on my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? He's a little dude. He was amazing. He was a great running back at a very small school, at a private school. So he spent $5,400. He got an offer to go play football at another school, and they're going to give him $20,000 a year. Now, for $5,400, he got a 200% return in 1 year. He goes to school for 4 years. He just got $80,000 plus for spending $5,500. Now, any financial advisor would be able to run the company with them kind of margins, right?
Right.
No doubt.
We got another kid who spent $6,000. I done made Rita so happy she done ran off the stage. I don't know what's going on around here. Somebody check on him.
I think she had to step out. She had a little bit of a coughing fit.
I was choking. Sorry.
All right, she's back.
You got her all.
We got
You need a drink.
And he got a full ride offer that's worth, I think, $37,000. Now you do the math.
All right.
Because we know what that process looks like. So people want to say, hey, it's too expensive, or they wait too late. But running fast gets you an opportunity. We teach people how to run fast. We've had kids that run a 4.7, and 9 months later they run a 4.51. They go get a scholarship offer. Period. I can show you those numbers. We get people in here because of the passion and the understanding and the team that I have, and everything we put into it is put into that kid. Boy, girl, 8 years old, 18 years old, it really doesn't matter.
Greg, how you mentioned the recruiting process, and I know from talking to Coach Schlossnagel, their recruiting starts really young now. I mean, they're getting commitments for 2020 and that class. And having football, how early does that start, or some of the other sports for that matter? How early does the recruiting process start?
I think the water is so muddy right now. And let me explain. There's kids out there in ninth grade that'll get offers. You know, years ago, about 10 years ago, there was a kicker who was in ninth grade that got an offer to a university because I'm in ninth grade. Now, of course, he's going to say yes in the ninth grade, and he'll change his mind 740 different times by the time it's time for him to be a senior.
Of course.
So what they're telling kids now is say yes to your first offer. That's the advice they're getting. Now, I'm from the old school. I still write receipts out. Like whenever I'm trying to type stuff on the computer, we do a sale. They say, Greg, get out the way before you make the computer crash. Like I'm that kind of old school. So now they're telling kids, hey, you know, accept your first offer because now you got a guarantee. I tell every kid that comes in here, you know, really think about where you want to go. And if you tell somebody you're going to school there, that's where you're going. That's where you should go. If a girl you like invites you to the prom and you say yes, it doesn't matter if the beautiful cheerleader invites you. She cannot go with you because you should be a man of your word or you should be a woman of your word. So now the water is so muddy. 8th graders can get an offer, 9th graders get an offer, and there are some schools that will have 100 offers out there because they know in that time clock, they're going to be able to pick the kids that they want through those offers, and that's why it gets great. And that's why you have early signing period, and that's why kids miss their opportunity because all your offers are up, like for another year with the juniors that you offer. Well, what about that flourishing senior who just played lights out because he only had a chance to start his senior year? He has a 10-game resume. This is a real example, by the way. He has a 10-game resume. He's all state. He's all conference. He's offensive player of the year, but ain't no scholarships out there for him because they all got offered up because the kid ran fast somewhere, which is, in my opinion, is fair, but it's muddy. You know, you got the Rivals camp, you got the Nikes camp, you got the Under Armour, and you see athletes that are freaks of nature, and they're running 4.3s and jumping 38s. I'm offering that kid too because I can teach him how to play. You know, if I got a baseball kid that runs a sub 6'8", I'm offering that kid. I can teach him how to catch. But what about the one that goes to senior year and hits 550? He just missed his opportunities because they were taken up a while back. Yeah. That's where we come in. That's why we do what we do. So I'm gonna challenge everybody. This is what we're doing at PE this year. I want to raise $20,000. I'm telling everybody who's listening, we're gonna ask 2,000 people for $10. If everybody's serious about helping somebody, we're asking 2,000 people for $10. We want $20,000. We're gonna give away 2 $10,000 scholarships. I ain't giving away $1,000 for 20 people. We're gonna give away 2 $10,000 scholarships to whoever deserves it. We're looking at nominations. Then the kids are going to have to do something for it. I'm asking 2,000 people. We talk a lot. We all got opinions. We own all the social media. We're asking y'all for $10 because that $10 goes in the pool and you just sent a kid to school and changed their life. You want to change your life for $10. You go to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is $8 for a number 4 now. That's ridiculous.
Hey, you go to Starbucks, you get a latte and a sandwich. It's $10, man.
You know, so if you want more information about that, go to info@pe28.com. We're gonna send all that info out. 2,000 people I'm asking, and I'm aggressive. I shake hands with kids' babies. If you tell me you're gonna do it, I'm coming to get those $10 to help that kid go to school. But that's
what was that URL again? Info.
It's an email address is info@pe28.com, and we're gonna push all the info out next week about how it goes, how we're gonna go about it,
and we'll put it in the show notes here as well.
You know, and so I'm serious about. I don't care what people think. I know what going to college, the opportunity to go, it makes people like Rima smile.
That's right. Well, you have my $10.
You have $10 here, buddy. I got you.
Yeah. And everybody in my company is starting to pool. So we're doing what we're asking. I got 8 people that work here. Everybody's giving $10. And then I have a partner with Gear Up Sports Academy. By the way, a select baseball club, Gear Up Sports Academy in Ellis County. They have Ellis County prospects and Tarrant County prospects. Think about what I'm about to say, ladies and gentlemen. 56 seniors have come through that organization in 5 years. 56 scholarship offers.
Wow.
Awesome. Batting 100. That's awesome.
Tarrant County prospects, Ellis County prospects, Gear Up Sports Academy, they take pride in getting kids scholarship offers. It does a lot for color. Doesn't matter. Being affluent neighborhoods don't matter, and none of that matters in this space. In sports is the only place where racism doesn't exist. Think about what I'm saying. You're on a football team. You got one goal, it's the championship. You can have the biggest racist. You can have the grand wizard of the KKK. He needs Alabama to win, right? So he's got to choose.
Wait. Why Alabama as the example here for the grand wizard? I'm just curious.
Because they won a national championship. You know, if it had been Mississippi State, I'd have said the same thing.
Okay.
But
the Southern states, by the way, young ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, you noticed that, right? But I'm serious. Like in sports, racism is not a real. It's not real. You know, it can't be. You can't cheer for a team and hate the players.
No,
it's impossible. So think about what that does for a kid who's living in a small town and gets a chance to go to Ohio State. Come on, man. You serious? You get to stand in front of 108,000 people and do what you love to do. And you know your mama couldn't afford that. Come on. Really? We don't even think about that. We just got this
lives for sure.
You know?
Well, yeah, I tell you what, your passion is infectious. I'm feeling, you got
my
$10.
Listen, guys, I've always admired Greg Wall's passion. Greg Wall is one of the guys I had to communicate with in the back with Russell Gary and some others, but it was fun. The passion has been there. It was there then. It's been there ever since, and that's why we get along. That's one thing us two share is passion. He knows it. But
no doubt.
So I want to ask you. I think it was the national championship. Spoke about it. I don't know if you got a chance to see Coach Patterson with those other coaches, and I guess they commentated the national championship game. Yeah, the film room. Give me the film room. So give me your thoughts on that. We all played for him, but he was you got a lot more of him because he coached help in the secondary. Yep. And so give us what you thought. I was telling him that's the Coach Patterson I've always seen and known. Yep. He just let the world see it at that time. So how was your grade on Coach Patterson from what you saw?
Well, we all know he talk a lot and talk in circles, but I thought I thought the information was brilliant. I mean, because understanding the game, you know what? I think that's a great question, because think about what he knows and then think about the execution of the players. Yeah. So it's going to bring me right back to college. So this man's whole life is built in athletics, and he is like an Einstein when it comes to understanding of offenses as a defensive mind. Okay. So what you can't be in sports, especially as a college athlete, is stupid. You can't, especially in football. So I would challenge anybody. You can take a chemist, or you can take a metaphysicist and give them a playbook, and I bet they can't read a word. The beauty of what he does is other people can't do it. The beauty of athletics is that only a select few can do it. So I can go to school and become a doctor. A doctor can't go to school and become a football player. So who's the problem? I can go to school and play baseball. And then as a baseball player, I can become a financial advisor, or I can be a scientist, or I can be anything. But because of certain limitations, a scientist ain't gonna be able to walk out of the lab and walk onto the field.
Very few, at least.
That's what school does. So when we see the kid, the DB from Florida State, who was the Rhodes Scholar, why was that surprising to everybody? It wasn't surprising to me because I know what he has to read back there. He has to read offensive routes and changing directions and has to stop on a dime. And then he got to go study.
Exactly.
And then he got to go study, you know? So let's be clear about the things that athletes give to the world, you know, and let's be real about how we judge them on the whim because we all have an opinion. When in fact, a lot of them are better than normal human beings. I mean, I don't know any other word to say it. So, you know, you get a quarterback who has to do everything, and then he has to go home and get ready for class.
No. We didn't have to go home. We would have to run out football field, go shower, grab them outside,
and then you go to class. And then you know what I'm saying? That, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I say. And then I'd go sit in the back and the teacher asked me, "What's wrong with you?" I just got through getting my head knocked off in practice, and now I got to come in here and learn from you. That's what's wrong with me.
Why do you think I look so tired?
Hey, Greg, I'm with you 100% on that. But how much does some of these knuckleheads that you see, like the Johnny Manziels, who instead of going home to study, they're out partying all night long, getting blackout drunk? How much does that tick you off?
It doesn't, because that's probably about 3%. It really does. The numbers of ridiculous people are so low. It really, you got 112 people on the football team, right? 6 of them do something stupid. The entire football team pays for it. There's 12 people on the basketball team. 2 of them do something stupid. It's the program. Here's the problem. It ain't the kids, it's what we allow the kids to do. It's the officials, the people who are protecting their pockets on the backs of these kids. Because if you cut the finger to save the hand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's, I'd like to bring something up. I mean, a couple things with Johnny Manziel and A&M. I mean, they had bad leadership. I mean, their coach, they all wanted to be like, he just wasn't he's a good person, but it just, you know, he's leading by example. And but the problem I have though, is it may be the 3%, but why is that 3% then put up for the Heisman 2 years in a row?
Because here's why. That's a great question. You do what you're allowed. You do what people allow.
Yeah.
So I am not mad at Johnny Manziel for being nominated or winning the Heisman. You know why? Because he didn't vote for him.
That's true.
We allowed that, you know, and we talk as the hypocrisy is laughable, right? So you get kids doing what kids do, right? Yep. And depending on how good you are or how you benefit the school, and I'm speaking from things that I know, how you benefit the pocket of the leaders, in some cases, things will go unseen. So how can one kid get kicked off the team and another kid stay on the team for doing the same thing? Yeah. Which one is benefiting the program? That's just the way. If in my job, right? I'm the owner of this company, okay? And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. If I had an amazing salesperson who came late every day, that amazing salesperson could come late every day. Period. If I got somebody who comes on time and can't sell and complains about the amazing salesperson that comes late every day, the complainer is getting his ass fired.
Hey, Greg, I know you're at work. Is your door open when you said that?
Yeah, I remember that. You know, but you do what people allow. Now, I won't allow things unethical or things that have no integrity, because what's being allowed these days is just sick. But that brings us to the point. If you don't allow it, if you crush it, if you cut the head off the snake is going to die. If you feed the snake rats, the snake will keep eating rats, no matter what hole you hide him in. Period. You know,
and that's why I commend you and Coach Patterson and the staff for the jobs they do. We've had some bad seats here and there, but just being close to the game, has tried to go after athletes, 5-star athletes, and get them in here. But with that comes a headache, right? Our DNA is getting 1-star, 3-star athletes, turn them into great athletes. Once you start getting some knuckleheads in there, and you can't control them. Well, things happen. They think they will spoil the locker room. So Coach Patty has done a great job. You know, there were some times in there a few years back that we got into a little of that, and that was the word I was hearing. It's like, Shannon, we got to just get back. And I didn't get this from Coach Patterson, but somebody who's close to the organization. We just got to get back to doing what we're good at. And that's recruiting guys who care that they got a scholarship, who care about family, who's there for a purpose, and that's to graduate and play good football. So I do commend Coach Patterson for that. But to Greg's point, that's the reason why, and I'm not talking about Kenny Hill on the field, but that's the reason why he came to the program. And you never heard a peep from him getting in any trouble or doing anything unethical or all that crap that was going on at A&M, because they allowed that to happen. By Johnny, he was under Johnny's umbrella, and he got.
Oh, I think we lost Shannon.
Got so excited.
Your last. We don't.
We're not
We're there.
No, yeah. Sorry, you froze there for a moment, but no, you're
sorry. I'm back. But
Shannon,
to my point is, Kenny, you know, go ahead.
No, I was going to say your point is very valid, because that was one of the concerns everybody had when we heard Kenny Hill was going to transfer to TCU. Was, you know, this guy could be a headache. I mean, anybody who comes in with the nickname Trill. I mean, come on. I mean,
Trill is also a nickname, by the way, but that means too real. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but still, I mean, for a lot of TCU fans, we're looking at it and we're thinking, you know, Johnny Football, you know, then we're going to have Kenny Trill Hill. I mean, that was especially at that time after we just had some headaches with, you know, with quarterback situations a few years previous, and we won't go into all that, but that was something that was on everybody's mind. But Kenny comes in, to the point you were making, Shannon. Coach and everybody in that program sat him down and said, you can transfer here, but you're not going to see a minute of playing time unless you do this, and this. And he did all that, and he should be commended for that. And the coaching staff should be commended for doing exactly what Greg was talking about.
I disagree. He shouldn't be commended for that. My dad taught me a long time ago, you shouldn't be praised for doing what you're supposed to do.
Right. I'll tell my kids
you shouldn't. You know, if you acting
like he could have gone a completely different direction, though.
No, you're right. I agree. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that should be the expectation, and that's why the 3% do. The expectation is based on ability, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
And the expectation should be based on acting like you got some damn sense. So, you know, as a youngster, you're gonna make mistakes. Listen, Shannon can attest to this. Had we on Facebook. I might not have made it out the second semester. I mean, I'm just saying. But I didn't do anything illegal or immoral. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I didn't do anything that my dad or mom would have looked at me and be like, my son is terrible. You know, these days, authority figures are hiding terrible things that are affecting people's lives. Like, it's one thing to get caught underage drinking. I mean, name anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's college. Good. I mean, I think society at this point is kind of like, it's an expectation. You know, somebody's going to have a drink.
But these days, that's so frowned upon. And if they show a video or a picture of that, the world can come down on you, right? So if underage drinking is that bad, how come we're hiding terrible, terrible things from the few people that are doing it? I'll tell you why. Because it benefits the program for the short term and the pockets of the people making the decisions. The kid ain't winning. He's learning that as long as I can play, I can continue to do what I do.
Yeah, that's the bad message being sent.
Yeah, it's Baylor and what's the new school now? Michigan State.
Yeah, and that's
caught up in all this.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't, because I try my best to be objective in all stories, because I've learned that the first story is always the most believable and has the least amount of truth. So you always want to wait and see what happens. But at the same time, there's always a lot of truth in the same story coming up multiple times. So the story, though, in that is, why are we allowing that? You know, why are we allowing that? That's the story in that. So here, and I love to talk about my company, my people, because the passion is the same. I walk in the meeting and say, Our goal is simple. This kid came to us for help. We got to help him. He's good enough or she's good enough. They're ready. Let's go help them take their hand out of their own pocket because the school wants to pay for it. And school should be a great experience. Like TCU was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I went to class because all the girls were there. I didn't miss I had 8 o'clock classes because the girls went to 8 o'clock classes. You know?
Well, you were there at the same time I was. It was like a 2-to-1 female to male population.
You get your numbers together. Come on, baby.
Was it 7-to-1?
Yeah.
Well, when I was there was only one girl that I ever paid attention to, and she became.
And I was in education. I'm a teacher.
It's a part of the recruiting package. We know
a whole lot of class.
Yeah, Shannon.
I was only doing a lot of classes.
We know those numbers as part of the recruiting package.
Coach Buckley made that call, and then TCU called you. You came to campus, and you went, "I'm coming here."
Just like that.
Take one look around.
I'm sold.
You just walk over to Worth Hills, and that's it. I'm done. I'm signing.
Ryan can probably remember this. When I first got there, the first thing they showed me on my recruiting visit is the lawn where between the girls' dorm where everybody would sunbathe.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa! My parents were there with me, and I'm like, wait, hold up. And that's the first thing they showed me.
Wait, was it the first orientation?
Yes, my first day.
That's hilarious.
I never forget on a Saturday. So, Greg, let me ask you this, buddy. I know we're running short on time, but listen, today as you watch the game that you see on TV, that you go to and to see, as we call it, because we don't say this, a lot of other people say it, but I mean it's true. The lion that you hear roaring today, which is the football team, it was not like that back in our day. Again, our first year we went 1-10, and to see the foundation we laid, the baby that is now grown. How does that make you feel to look back and just see, man, our 1-10 season, and we got some traction, went to back bowl games and won rings, and boom, they took off. And I think they've only missed one bowl game since our class. What's your thoughts on that, my friend?
Let me tell you what, man. I couldn't be more.
I'm sorry there. All right, go ahead.
I couldn't be more proud. I really couldn't. And here's why. What they do now is expected. And that's what you want from your program. You want an expectation of winning championships. They're expected to compete for the Big 12 title. They're expected to be in the top 10, top 15. They're expected to go to a good bowl game. We just wanted to have 35 people in the stands and let our mama be one of them, and we have a good showing.
Right.
Yep.
When we played, it was a lot of anger. It was like we had a bunch of angry dudes on because we had something to prove.
Right.
We really did. And I don't care what anybody says. Nobody wants to be the underdog. We like underdog stories, but nobody wants to really feel like other people think they can't win. That's just not smart. If I'm gonna get in a fight, I want everybody to believe I have a chance to win the fight. I don't want to look around and be like, Greg, you might want to chill out on this one. You might want to come sit over here. Nobody wants to be the underdog. So for TCU to eliminate that underdog or that circle on the schedule, now when they see us on the schedule, we're the target, and you always want to be that. You want something? We're here. You need to come up here and get it. So I could not be more proud of the kids they recruit, the caliber of athlete, the expectation to win 9, 10, 11, 12 games, how upset people get when we're not in the top 4 to play for a championship. I mean, that's come on, man. That's why you do it. I haven't missed a game since I've stopped playing, and haven't been to a game since I've stopped playing. I've been at work, and I'm talking about shut the building down and go in the back and watch the game. And then I get like, man, they can't hear me in here cussing because, I get real crazy when I the game. But the pride, I have it's bigger than wins and losses, because I was there when we had to work out under the stadium in 700-degree heat whenever they was renovating. I was there with Shannon where that uphill both ways was real, and we had to have our shoulder pads and our helmet, rain, sleet, or snow. Like I was there, and to turn around and go now and see we are one of the top dogs. We're the best team in Texas, hands down.
Mm-hmm.
And we're one of the best teams in the nation. And you couldn't ask for any. As a person to be a part of that and to watch it evolve into this, come on, man.
I was telling them, Greg, about the ant line going up and down the hill to our old practice field, how people would drop down with full body cramps. You couldn't help them because if you helped them, you was going
to you're going to be down there with them. You're like, come on, baby, I can't do it. Let's just roll together.
Right. and that goes back to the foundation. Well, we did that. You know, we had to do that. These kids don't have to do that today, rightfully so, because that's what winning brings.
Absolutely. So they shouldn't have to do
right.
it.
Right.
Do that. Awesome. So I got to roll because I'm pretty sure that people get tired of me yelling and screaming. But listen, I want to come back. I got to tell you, I want to come back. We're going to give 2 scholarships for $10,000. And I'm going to ask 2,000 people. And anybody that tells me no, I'm going to find their address and hit them on top of the head, because we talk about helping people, you know, and $10, literally your $10.
Look at that. Wes is holding up $10 right now.
You know, so please send me an email. Everybody listening to this podcast, info@pe28.com. We're going to send you all of the info, all of the rules. We have a PayPal account. We're selling shirts. Every dollar goes to the scholarship. And it doesn't have to be an athlete. If there's a kid who wants something that they feel like they can't get, we're going to help them get it. Because I know what college does for a young person. Nothing is more unfair than for a kid's career, be it sports or music, to end in high school, because I know what that looks like after that. It's not a good look. Statistics show you that when athletics comes to an abrupt halt, people are lost because their identity is wrapped in that team or under that helmet or under that hat. And when it comes to an abrupt halt, you're no longer a part. And we all want to be connected. You're no longer a part of the thing you've been a part of your whole life. Don't start crying over there on me. You know, and we all want to be a part of something.
Well, Greg, I want to say this, brother. I've seen you come from Picayune, Mississippi.
Picayune, Mississippi, baby. To
Fort Worth, Texas. Shed blood with me on the football field for 4 years, go on and have a chance to play with the Washington Redskins, to coming back home, starting your own business, man, and giving back to the community, helping kids, being very passionate about what you do, man. I commend you, man. I'm proud of you. I love you as a brother, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, you guys are great, man. I appreciate all you guys. If I can help, call me.
Yeah, same goes here. However we can help.
We'll see you on the 7th.
Thanks for coming out, Greg.
I appreciate you guys. If you want to help, give me a 10 spot because we're going to send a kid to college.
All right.
Appreciate it,
got it from all of us, Greg, and we'll have you back on when you're ready to award those scholarships.
Yeah.
It'll be, I tell you what, I got a date for that. We're going to announce. I'm always prepared. I told Shannon knows I'm prepared.
The man plans.
The date that we're going to roll out the winner is June 29th.
All right.
Awesome.
And we want those scholarships to go out for the fall semester. So those kids will have the money in their hands and they'll be going to school.
Now, how do you do that? Do you go to their house and award it? Do they come to a banquet at your place? How does that happen?
Yeah, they're going to come to a presentation here at a Performance Experience.
Okay.
Well, this is how it's going to work, and then I'm the roll. So people are going to nominate these kids, and we're going to read every number. I need to know why. I need to know why you think somebody is deserving of that. Mm-hmm. And my panel of people, we got 4 on the panel, and I'll take 4 more because I want to hear opinions. We're going to read everything, and we're going to find out what makes the most sense for those 2 scholarships. And then we're going to call those the winners, and we're going to say, hey, they have to do something for these scholarships. We ain't just giving away. They're going to have to write an essay. And I'm the topic giver, and I got my degree in education, so I'm real, and I've taught language arts, so they better come with it. So they're going to have to write an essay, And then after that, they're going to have to do 25 hours of community service here at PE. And they're going to have to spend 5 of those hours with me, because I need to know how serious they are. You know, and then we're going to take that money and we're going to award that money to them if they just complete those 2 things. And they have to complete them as best to the best of their abilities. And we're going to make sure they get that money, so they'll have a $10,000 buffer to go into whatever school that they decide to go to.
That's awesome.
That is fantastic.
Awesome, my friend.
Cannot wait to have you back, Greg. And now that I know you're an education major, next time you come back, we're going to have to compare notes about Tuliadis's early childhood psych class.
Let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you, history, language arts, English, PE. I can talk about all of them. When you start talking about psychology, man, you're going to. Hey,
Well,
that was good, man. It's been great. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again. Hopefully, I'll be able to help 1 or 2 more people before I get a chance to get back on.
That's great. You have a wonderful mission, Greg. Thanks a lot for coming on. And Wes, man, keep unmuting your mic. Appreciate it, Greg. Go ahead, Wes.
Thank you, Greg. Now you can mute me. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother. Hey, man, get back, man. I need to see you on the next podcast.
All right. You go help
All
out
right,
the kids, man. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Bye.
All right, that was Greg Walls. We really appreciate him. Shannon, thanks for having him on tonight. That was very insightful. We really
told you guys I got about 50 more guys like that, man. So I'm telling you, that's the locker room. That's the energy. And it's good to see that kind of stuff, because I'm telling you, that's the locker room. Like they say, what goes on locker room stays in the locker room. That's true. But the locker room doors has to open, right? We have to come out. And so that passion that leaks out, and those guys, it takes a lot. It took a lot back then to win in our conditions. And so, Greg, when we go way back with a lot of other guys and that passion, I love to see that. I love seeing what he's doing in business. He's grown tremendously. And I've seen his ups, his downs. He's like a brother to me. And that's one thing we spoke about Frogs. We're like family. I really talk to Greg and these guys more than I talk to my own brothers. And I love my brothers, but they don't have a lot to talk about sometimes, But my guys, my football buddies, we do. We talk about life. We talk about kids playing sports. We talk about what we're doing to give back. We talk about the Frogs. I mean, we have a lot to talk about. And it's always good to be with them.
It's true.
Well, yeah. It's fantastic. I love what Greg's been doing. I love the fact that he's been finding scholarships for all these young players and helping walk them through the process, because I know it's not an easy thing, especially nowadays with everything that's been going on social media wise and huddle. And I mean, it's such a mess. I can't imagine trying to navigate that now as a player.
Well, you guys wait till we have Johnny Collins on. You talk about a talker now. The guy's great. He can talk, and he's going to drop a lot of words that you may not understand. So get your dictionaries ready, but it's going to be a fun show.
Oh, that'd be great. Hey, Ryan, Shannon, you got mind if we announce a little bit about what Shannon's going to be doing for us in the future?
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm so excited about this. All right. So I think everything we've been missing Scott Nix a lot, especially with his podcast that he would do. And if anybody has an opportunity, just go to YouTube and Google KillerFrogs, Scott Nix, and a lot of them will pop up, and he'll have you belly laughing with tears coming out of your eyes, because he was just this big guy that could get away with saying just about anything and not get sued, really. I mean,
right.
Or hit, oddly enough, yeah.
I mean, there's just no what political correctness at all, which was kind of refreshing. He was just hilarious. And so anyway, we've been really struggling with that part of Killer Frogs, because that's not my personality. It's John.
Big shoes to fill.
Do what?
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Never do that. And so after talking with Shannon the previous podcast, we just stumbled upon it, and I thought, Shannon, you will be perfect. Our locker room guy, like before the games, after the games, just to really get in the heads of these guys and find out who they are, aside from being an athlete, and I'm very excited to see this all play out and get you out there with the coaches too. I mean, that's going to be great to get, interviews with Gary and some of the other coaches as well. So really look forward to getting that started, hopefully as early as maybe the end of basketball season, and then of course baseball season, but it'll be all geared up for football season next year. We'll get
Can't
you
wait. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of excitement. And again, we all saw Scott work, and it was hilarious to see. I've been studying a lot of his videos, and it takes me back. I miss my buddy, and the things that he said and done was hilarious, guys. So we're just gonna keep that excitement going, keep that fun going, keep that passion going. Not trying to replace Scott in any kind of way, but we're just trying to keep what he started going in memory of him, and have him laughing at us in heaven. But it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun with it. But I must say, Coach Patterson, I'm not a student athlete. I'm a grown man. You can't be talking to me crazy, man. I'm just letting you know. I'm just gonna ask questions for the people. But if you come at me crazy, they're gonna see something on the camera that you might not want.
You need to go speak to Landry.
I know, right? and that's why I make the statement, because I've seen what he's done to Landry. I'm like, my goodness.
Hey,
but we're gonna have fun.
What's just so everybody who's listening can go Google one of Scott's famous podcasts. What's the chicken biscuit one? What do they put in?
Okay, all right, yeah. So that one. So at the beginning of every season, there's like a media day where they have a lot of different players, and you get to go and ask questions. And at those things, the questions that the media always ask, you're like, well, tell us about your defense this year. Or what do you think about the Big 12? And it's always these serious, kind of journalistic questions. And they hear the same questions over and over and over again all day long. And one of the things, and Shannon is perfect for this, because one of the things that Scott, it wasn't necessarily about the comedic aspect that Scott was, because Scott was always having fun. It was the fact that as another brother, as another guy who played TCU football in that locker room, like you were talking about, Shannon, there's a rapport there automatically. I mean, just immediately. And he got them to open up in ways that the other people in the media just never really thought about. But we would always ask him the silliest darn questions. And one of the questions, we had asked, it was the year right when In-N-Out came to Texas. And I think it was Josh Boyce that we were asked, and Wes is agreeing with this. It was Josh Boyce that we asked, and we were asking every single player, all right, In-N-Out or Whataburger? And, the California guys are, In-N-Out. And all the Louisiana and Texas guys are like, Whataburger. We get over to Josh Boyce, and Josh Boyce is like, oh, it's Whataburger. And he's like, well, why? He's like, he's licking his fingers. He's going, man, that honey butter chicken biscuit sandwich. And he has this look on his face, like there's like going to be like a little drop of drool coming out of the side of his mouth. He's a little sparkle in his eyes when he's saying the honey butter chicken biscuit. And it was just classic. But that was, I want to say that was 2014. I think that was the 2014 year that we did that. 2014, 2013, one of those two. Yeah. But I'll find it. I'll put it in the show notes because that was hilarious.
Dude,
Sean, you might. I don't remember which season. I would think it'd be 2013, 2014, where Scott interviews the lady with the two dogs. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah, that Shannon, have you ever seen that one?
Yeah, I believe so vividly, but I'm telling you, I've seen so many, but Scott, I just laugh because he's hilarious.
Well, her boyfriend looked like he spent his life in a gym, and then this lady who's amply endowed is walking these two dogs, and Scott looks down at the dog and says, hold those puppies up here. Everybody knew what he was insinuating, but she held those dogs up there and Scott hooting on over. But if I'd said that, if Sean had said that, we'd be still on the floor looking up, blood running out of our nose. But Scott could get away with that stuff, and nobody'd say a word.
Remember the one where he's interviewing all the West Virginia people and he's talking about how they don't have teeth?
Classic.
I mean, I was just like, I was dying.
Yeah. It was like, okay, so you've been in West Virginia since 1969. What is it like to have gotten running water here in the last 2 years? I mean, he said it with a straight face, and people thought, we took many takes to do that. He did everything in like one take. I mean, it was very few times where he would have messed something up, and usually it was because someone distracted him for something else. But I will say this one thing, and I know we're running a little long. There was only one time in all the time that I was ever recording or with Scott and Wes doing this where I honestly thought he was about to get his butt kicked, and it was by the most unlikely of individual, and it was the last time we were in Omaha. So it was the second year in a row that we had been to Omaha. This was about 3 years ago. we were there, and if everybody remembers, Texas Tech is the year before that. Texas Tech was in the College World Series. We beat them in the first round. The next year that we went to Omaha, they didn't make it. Texas Tech didn't make it, but Scott and I noticed out in the parking lot, there's a giant Texas Tech trailer, and like they have like this weird slogan, like, you know, home of champions or the best of the champions or something like that. And we always made a joke about it. It's like, champions of what? You know, it's like you talking about being, you know, the best of champions or whatever it is. And you guys, you haven't won anything but like women's basketball in the last 30 years. And so thought we're just going to go over there and just have a little bit of fun with the Texas Tech fans. So we go over there, and these two little women and a couple of guys, the guys didn't care, didn't want to do anything, but the girls were like, yeah, we'll talk to you. We'll have some fun. Scott basically asked that one question to one of them, like right in front of the trailer. It's like, so explain this slogan. What are you champions of? One of them had to hold the other one back. I mean, it was the only time I thought he was going to get his butt kicked, and it was by this little Texas Tech girl. And it was just the most hilarious thing, because Scott was always used to just everyone just kind of rolling with it. And she was like the most offended person I've ever seen. And we've seen Scott, like Wes was saying, hold those puppies up. You know, what's it like to get dentures for the first time in your life? I mean, it just all these insane questions in all the years we've done stuff. And it was just a simple question about explaining this crazy logo on the side of your trailer was going to get him his butt kicked by a Texas Tech fan. It was hilarious.
Fun times, man.
Yeah, it really was. Really was. Well, with that, I think we're done. Does anybody else have anything else they want to bring up tonight?
No, just go out to the girls' basketball games. Sign up for the Austin
bus trip
Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, if you don't go out there, Rima will find you.
I will. You'll hear about it.
She has a particular set of skills.
You don't want to mess with Rima.
No, you don't. All right. Well, with that, I want to thank everybody for listening to us out there. If you new to the podcast, we are available on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts these days. If you are on iTunes, we would ask you just go on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. It would help us out. Also, you can find us on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at @killer_frogs. There's an underscore in there. Or on Facebook, just go ahead and search for Killer Frogs. And of course, you can always go on killerfrogs.com and join us for free. It's a free membership, and discuss TCU athletics with the rest of us knuckleheads. And with that, we are at the end of the podcast. And Wes, I'm going to unmute your mic for this one. Mm-hmm. It's time where we all say,
can I talk?
Go Frogs.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
We're going to have to figure that out, Wes. Buy the man some headsets.
Hey, it's amazing what that purple blood does for you, Wes. We thought we were gonna lose you, and it seemed like you got